If you want to reinforce a message when teaching your children, use visual aids. It's called an object lesson. And if you pick the right object, you're sure to leave a lasting impression. I still vividly remember the way my siblings and I were taught at a very young age about not running out into the road. My oh-so-wise parents had decided this topic would be a wonderful opportunity for an object lesson. So one Monday evening, my siblings and I were told to come outside to the front yard. While my father lined us up on the sidewalk facing the street, my mother went to the garage and got in the car. She backed out of the driveway and then slowly pulled out in the road directly in front of us. She rolled the window down, and then she said, in an eerily quiet, evil villain sort of a voice, "If you run out into the road, you will be smashed." Tension filled the air. Right on cue, my father walked out into the road and placed a large orange on the ground right in front of our car's tire. Then he walked back and stood on the sidewalk next to us. Again, in that evil villain voice, but louder this time, "Now, I want you to pretend you are the orange." And with that, my mother hit the gas, driving over her hypothetical round orange children. If you are wondering right now, does this sort of thing scar a child? The answer is, oh yes. We definitely got the message loud and clear that day. But we had also witnessed a fruit murder. Even at the tender age of 9, I wondered, gee, Mom, was that really necessary? I know that what works for one kid doesn't necessarily work for another. I have a few nieces and nephews that would freak out if they saw a pretend orange family exploding. I myself have a son who would absolutely love the whole display, completely understand the object lesson, and still run out into the road every chance he got. Sometimes object lessons backfire. Like the time my 16-year-old son decided he wanted to gamble. He had earned a bit of money and he wanted to buy a lottery ticket. You know the ones where you scratch off the silver stuff to see if you'd won. Well, he thought those sounded amazing, and as hard as I tried to impart my motherly wisdom upon my teenage son, he was determined. So, since it was his own money, I felt it was time to let him learn a lesson the hard way. I pulled our car into the parking space right in front of the little shop where he could buy a scratchy. He had $5, and he wanted to buy 5 $1 scratchies. Because I'm a good mother, I warned him again one last time. I said to him, "Okay, Joshua, fine, go spend your money. And when all you have left is silver crap under your nails, you will know and remember well what it feels like to gamble and lose." And with that, he smiled at me, hopped out of the car, and went inside the shop. While I waited in the car, I was going over in my mind all the important points I wanted to make in my "See, I told you so" speech. Sure, he would be upset, but life is hard, and sometimes we have to teach our kids the hard lessons. To top off the day, I was even going to tape that lottery ticket to the fridge. It would be a reminder and the perfect visual aid. Moments later, he came bouncing out of the store and sat down next to me with a huge grin on his face. It was then that I realized there was only one card in his hand. One card with 5 silver circles. My poor son didn't even have the sense to buy 5 cards. He'd gambled it all on one scratchy. Oh well, it was going to be over quickly. I was going to have the entire ride home to deliver my inspirational speech. He was going to remember today, and he was going to remember this lesson. I watched as he rubbed the quarter over the silver circle. The silver came off, and he yelled. My son had just won $10. My speech was going to have to be edited a bit. My gambling Joshua cheered. The second circle was scratched, and then the third, and then the fourth, until all 5 circles were clearly each $10 winners. I did not get to give my speech at all. I did not get to tape anything to the fridge. And my son, he ran back in the shop, and when he got back out, he hopped in the car, and he was proudly smiling and holding 50 very memorable visual aids. Not exactly what I had imagined. It was a complete object lesson fail. Almost as big. Wait for it. As the time I fell off a building trying to show my kids how unsafe it was.